as always, I want you to get out there and get your miles in. Um, Regardless of how far you run, it could just be a quarter mile, a half mile, nice easy jog. Just get some steps in because that consistency is so much more important than even how far you run. So just getting some good habits, get out there and make sure that your wheels are still moving, and then come back and go ahead and join me on the floor. And so today is really more of a recovery day. It's a day for us to roll out our spine because so many of us sit down for long periods of time and we just have this bad posture, even being on our phones or on our computers, right? Typing away. And we create this roundness of the spine, we lose the core, and all these tissues in the back body just get overused. And if we have that bad posture, especially if we go out there and run and we do this for miles and we have perhaps even a slight tilt to the pelvis, and then we arch the back, right? The shoulders roll back and we kind of crunch in the low back. We create all this tension up and down the spine. But if you think of the spine, it is just this incredible intrinsic balance. In fact, the entire body is just full of these primary and secondary curves that just run down the entire body. And when they're not balanced in that way, then it just creates all this added pressure on these vertebrae, on these joints. And I see this in a lot of children now, a lot of kids, a lot of young adults, how they just have they're so tight and their posture is so bad, and they may not feel the pain today because the body can tolerate so much. But what it can't do is over the course of time, over the course of a year, a decade, 20 years, suddenly that bad posture starts to wear on you, and the mind's way of communicating to us that it finally wants us to change something is by sending these pain signals. And so that's what it knows what to do. However, we have a fix for you. And so grab your favorite size yoga tune-up therapy balls. I'm just going to grab the regular size balls. These are the smaller ones, right? The plus size are a little bit bigger. But these are going to allow me to go deeper into some of these tissues as we work around the traps, the neck, and down the spine. So first off, I'm going to start by removing these from the tote. Okay. And I'm just going to take these balls and we're going to place them right on the back. Okay, right there. Right where the backpack straps would go on your back, right in that soft spot that if you press there, you could feel the muscles tight. You may even be able to dig in there and kind of release some of that tension just with your hands. This is where we want the balls to go. So we're going to lower down onto our back, feet to the ground. Now, if you do have, let's say, a yoga block, something that you could put under your hips, you may want to use it. It's not a necessity, but what I'm going to do is place these balls right where those backpack straps would be. I'm going to relax my head to the ground, relax everything, even send the low back towards the ground. So I like to think about sending the tailbone away towards the heels, and this tilts the pelvis back. Low back comes to the ground, balls are there. If this is enough for you, and you can kind of go into the balls from here, that's fine. For me, I like to go deep into these tissues and really get into some of those knots. So what I do is I send the knees away, allowing the hips to lift up. But by sending the knees away, you actually lengthen the spine, arms come up, and I just begin to, almost like seaweed at the bottom of the ocean,
start to move the arms and really moving the muscles back into the balls, releasing any tension that I can. And some of you, this may be good for you, and you may just want to stay here for 5 to 10 minutes and just release as much as you can. And so we're just going to be here just a couple moments longer, because you guys can stay here for as long as you want. You can pause the video, you can watch it, and then come into some of these movements. And you can even imagine yourself maybe driving a big school bus and just turning the school bus. Maybe that helps you getting into some of these tissues on the upper back a little bit more. And as I mentioned too, if you have the block, you could use it to place it under the hips to allow the hips to relax down onto that block. So you're not using the quad muscles as much, but you're kind of here and the hips are still lifted. And stay there for as long as feels okay. The worst thing that's going to happen here, as long as you're just in the soft stuff, is that the muscles will get a little bit inflamed. The fascia will get a little inflamed. And so I always recommend an Epsom salt bath, or even ibuprofen as an anti-inflammatory. But that usually doesn't stay for more than 24 hours anyway. Um, so next we're going to take the balls and actually move them a little closer together. Okay, so the balls will be here. So the spine are all these bumps that run down the back. These are the spinous processes. So we want to stay away from those. So we place the balls one on each side of the spine. Okay, so a little bit more inside. It's only going to be a couple inches apart. And we're going to lay down the same way here. And we're going to place it not on the neck, but right below the nape of the neck there. So it's going to be on the back. And just taking my hands even behind the head here, this is just going to allow me to lift the hips up and kind of go into the balls there. I can readjust the balls as I need. And all that we're going to do is roll one ball length at a time, or one vertebra down the spine at a time, and really taking our time. So I'm just going to roll up a little bit, and I just feel the ball roll about one ball length, and I adjust the feet as I need, and then I go straight into this, right? I could even bring my arms up again. Even making some snow angels here. And again, you can lower the hips if you need, or keep them lifted. And then from here, I just roll one more vertebra. Now, sometimes the shirt will get stuck in the balls, so you just readjust. You really just kind of go straight down into it, and then we roll one more up. And by this time, the balls should be about right between the shoulder blades. Okay, and when they are between the shoulder blades, if they aren't and you rolled too far down, then try to find them between the shoulder blades. Because here we're going to reach the arm straight up, okay? But without bending the elbows, we're just retracting the shoulder blades and almost trying to crush the balls behind us, like we're crushing eggs. And so just to show you how this will look, so I'm just retracting the shoulder blades back, really just try to crush those balls between the shoulder blades. And we're going to do that about 5 to 10 times. And then coming back in, I'm going to roll down again. And one more. And I should find my way right about at the bra strap for women, the bro strap for men. And from here, just going to give myself a big hug and making sure that we're stretching the tissues in the back as we do this. And from here, I just take a deep breath in. I can lift the hips if I want or keep them lowered. And on the exhale, I empty everything out. Really trying to crush the balls into the earth here, squishing them behind me. Deep breath in. And some of you may even get an adjustment. And then I'm going to roll up again, same thing, just hugging myself. Relaxing down, deep breath in, and exhale. Now we're trying to keep the head on the ground as well. Because if you lift the head up, the muscles in the back body start to engage, but we want them relaxed as we're doing this. And then I'm going to go ahead and readjust even on the carpet so you guys can see me. And so we're going to roll down a little bit more. And the same thing. And these are the erector spinae muscles that run all the way down the spine. And we're going to do that. Eventually coming all the way down to that dimple on the low back or right above that dimple. That's the SI joint. And when we do get there, we'll just take a moment to relax the hips down. And all that we're going to do here is do some pelvic tilts. So we're just tilting the pelvis so the glutes come off the ground and then let them soften back towards the earth. So we're tilting the pelvis backwards and forwards, just making sure we're keeping that SI joint free. And from there, that is our recovery day. So if you have any questions about using these balls, let me know. I will post a link to buy them if you don't have yourself a set already. And we will see you all tomorrow.